Okay, rounding to the nearest hundredth. I'm going to teach this a little bit unconventionally because we're going to deal with a lot of answers because in consumer math, it's a lot of money amounts, and we kind of need our answers to be precise. And the way to get them to be precise money amounts is to know how to round to the nearest hundredth. Kind of the hundredth's the big deal. We don't need to memorize all the place values, but so this is how we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So underline the first two digits after the decimal. Okay, these first two digits, so 98. Okay, so remember, 98. Can't really see it very good, but it's 98. Draw an arrow to the third digit. So the third digit is a 3. So just go from 98 and draw an arrow to the 3. Now, if that number that I drew the arrow to, if it's 5 or higher than 5, then that point, and I'm going to drop the decimal, right? Make a decimal point right here. Then that .98 is going to go to a .99. Okay? Just think of it like that. But if it's lower than a 5, we keep everything the same. So 3 is lower than a 5. Okay? So since it's lower than 5, we want to keep that .98. Now, had that been 5 or higher, I would have made it .99. And then the 54 needs to stay the same, okay? And that's the answer, okay? 54.98. Okay, and that's pretty much what we're going to do here. So, underline the first two digits, 75, and then draw an arrow. Now make a decimal point. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger this time. So this time that 8 is higher than 5. So it goes from .75 to .76. Okay? And don't put anything after the 76. It's rounded. And then the 25 needs to stay like it is. So 25.76. Okay, same thing. Here's my decimal. Drop it down. Now underline the first two digits. So it's 57. Think of that as a number, 57, and then now if the number is 5, or if it's 5, we need to add 1, so it goes from .57 up to .58. Okay, and I don't worry about anything after the 8, but I do need to put the 0 that is in front. Okay, next one. Underline the first off. Make your decimal. Underline the first two digits and draw that arrow. Okay, so it's .89. Okay, now that 6 that we see is higher than 5. So we need to add 1 to 89. So if you add 1 to 89, if you're counting, it goes up to 90. So .90 and 300. Okay. That's your answer. Now, a lot of teachers are going to want you to just put .9. I don't want you to do that. Okay, I want you to think in terms of money. Okay, you don't see .9, you see 90. So we need to be thinking of always having two digits. Okay, now a little bit of a dicey. This is as hard as it gets. So far so good. I mean, you underline these first digits. If it's 5 or higher, it goes. Just count up 1. If it's not 5 or higher, you just keep it the same. But here we run into a sticky situation, okay? .99. If I drop this, .99, then we have a 7. Well, the problem is if I'm counting and the next one up from 99 is 100. Well, you can't put .100. So if up 1 takes you to 100, circle and kind of write this down. If up 1 takes you 100, circle the number before the decimal, okay? So I'm going to circle 90 this time, okay? If up 1 takes you to 100, circle the number before the decimal and take that up 1. Okay, so if I take 90 up 1, it goes up to 91, okay? and I don't need to, I can ignore all this, and that's the answer. I don't need anything after, okay? So just remember, if those two, I want to underline those first two, but if I have to take that up 1 and it takes me to 100, okay, we're going to circle the number before the decimal because we have to switch gears in, and then we need to take that up 1, and that's the answer. I don't put anything after the decimal, okay? Okay, now pause the video and do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pause that, okay? I don't think there's any that take you to 100, so be pretty nice there. 7, 8, 9, 10, then come back. Okay, now here's what we do. We're doing on the next part. Convert each fraction to a decimal and then round to the nearest hundredth if needed. We only want to go 2 places out. So we see 1/4. What that means, all I do to convert a fraction into a decimal is take 1 divided by 4. Because of the fraction, we know a line means that's an operator that means division, and that's what we're going to do. So I take 1 divided by 4, okay? So that's going to be 0.25. Okay, 3 1/2. Now, forget about the 3 for a second. Let's just look at the 1/2. So 1 divided by 2. We'll have to do something with the 3, but not yet. So I take 1 divided by 2. And that's 0.5. But since there was a 3 in front of here, you know, this 3, I have to take the 0, cross it out, and replace it with 3. So the answer is 3.5. That's all you do. If you have a whole number in front, it's really all that's needed. So 3/8. I take 3 divided by 8. .375. Now remember what we said though. We have 3 digits after this decimal. We can only have 2. So we need to underline that, draw the arrow, and since that's higher than 5, okay, that goes from 37 to 38. Remember to put the decimal and put the 0 in front. Now this 7 we had in front, we need to replace the 0 with 7. That's just like means instead of having a 0, we have 7. So just erase that and put 7, and the answer is 7.38. Okay. Okay, 6/7. Okay. So I'm going to divide 6 by 7. Again, we'll just replace the 0 with the 10 momentarily. But first I need to find what 6 divided by 7 is and then round it. So I have 0.857. Just write 3. Just write the first 3 digits. Because we can only have 2, but we need the third digit so we can see if the 85 has to stay 85 or if it has to go to 86. So since 7 is higher than 5, that needs to definitely become 86. And again, since we had a 10 there, we're not going to put 0 there. We're going to put 10 there. Okay, and then last but not least, 5 1/6. Okay, so we're going to take 1 divided by 6. Okay, so, whoops, sorry. Find what 1 divided by 6 is. So 0.166. Okay, I only need 3 digits because if I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth, that's fine. So think of that as 16. And that's bigger than 5, so that needs to go to point, and the 16 needs to be counted up 1 to 17. But instead of 0, we need to put the 5 there, okay? Okay, and that's how you take care of business on those. It's really easy. You just divide the top by the bottom. Remember, I need it only 2 decimal places. So if there's more than 2, you need to write the 3 and round them. Okay, and that takes you through 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.